When you go into combat, you really begin to feel your own mortality. At those moments, people really want to be able to touch God, and that's where their faith comes in and sustains them.
Even people who profess not to have a faith would like to know something greater than what they see around them is watching out for them when they're under fire.
In a time of war, there are great anxieties, there are family problems, and you need a chaplain to talk to.
It's a congregation of people who would never go to a synagogue, but are scared, they're worried. They've seen their buddies die, they've seen their friends get killed, maimed.
You have these young soldiers going out, they're not necessarily prepared for what they see.
We have people who just get married 7 to 8 weeks later. They're gone, they're sent away overseas. Some come back after 4 or 6 months, some don't come back for a year. Some don't even come back whole. Some, unfortunately, come back in a body bag.
The trauma that we saw there was horrific. And you look for some type of compassion, some type of companionship, something that somebody can understand. And that's what the rabbis, when they come to Iraq, understand too.
We as chaplains play a very important role in helping them cope with where they are.
When a soldier or sailor Marine is in Afghanistan or some other part of the world, that is a sense of isolation. So Aleph is supplying rabbis to go and pray and look out for individuals, and assisting chaplains, and where there are no chaplains, lay leaders or individual soldiers.
I've put tefillin on people that have come from Aleph. I have fed people with food that has come from Aleph. I have taught people how to bench lulav and esrog in Iraq with lulavim, esrogim. That came from Aleph.
Aleph Institute supports the military and especially supports the chaplains. We need support. So an institution like Aleph Institute is a very, very important part on the morale of the military and how we feel about what we're doing.
The Aleph Institute is the Jewish resource for the military. I have told countless of my colleagues who are in leadership positions, and they call and they say, what do? You know, we'd like to have a Jewish program. We're not really sure where to start. And I would tell them, you find me a Jewish person who's willing to work with you to be the leader, and you call Aleph Institute. If there was ever an organization that epitomized efficiency, you know, whatever you needed, on time, every time. That's what we like to say, you know, with the Air Force. That's what the Aleph Institute is. And it came without a bill.
When I deployed to Afghanistan, the Middle East in 2002, the Aleph organization, they want to know what can they do for me. Whatever I asked for, they gave me. I got Mahzorim for them, Tzedurim, Talaisim. Most important, it's a phone call away.
The Aleph Institute is a manifestation of the vision of the Lubavitcher Rebbe. The Lubavitcher Rebbe bought Shmura Matzah for all the troops I had in Western Europe when I was assigned there in 1989. Now you have the Aleph Institute, which will send supplies to every single Jewish man and woman in uniform, wherever they may be.
We mobilize reserve soldiers, and many of those Jewish kids will suddenly come to me and ask for a yarmulke, and ask for a chumash, and ask for a siddur. When they go over there, that's when they want it.
It's been the godsend to a lot of the people over in Iraq. There was never a moment that we didn't have matzah at Passover, we didn't have a prayer book. Even my yarmulke came from the Aleph Institute.
For the average soldier, many of them, probably if they were back in the United States, wouldn't even bother going to the holiday service, you know, quite frankly. But now you're in a war zone. You're getting shot at all the time, people don't come back. And therefore, just the chance to get the services is very important to them. And for many of them, They just want to be with some other Jews.
They know they're Jewish, they just don't necessarily always know what that means. The military, it's one of the few places within the society we live today where it is okay to believe in God. It's even admirable. Those who want to, they can proudly say, I am religious, proudly say, I do believe.
The challenge is to bring the programming to them when they can have it. I'm the station chaplain at the chapel on Camp Foster, which is the main chapel for the Marine Corps on Okinawa. In some cases, it's taken 3 or 4 months for things to get there. I sent an email to Rabbi Katz and said, help. Sukkot is starting in 3 days. I have no way to get Arba Minim. And I got an email back that said it'll be there by FedEx. And sure enough, 48 hours later, it was there. So that's the genius of the Aleph Institute.
They have created a usable Chumash for the first time. They've produced it with the ACU covers, which is the digital pattern. And there's also a Tilma Psalm that they've produced. There's the physical end and there's the spiritual end, and they've been able to supply both ends.
I think they play an invaluable role. Are they always appreciated? Well, it depends, where you sit is where you stand.
They don't have to do this, but they took the lead to make this happen. They were in the forefront.
Wherever there is, we would joke. If there's Coca-Cola, the Aleph Institute will get there. And for the military, those supplies have been Aleph.
Without Rabbi Lipskar, I wouldn't be a chaplain. I'm one of his people, and he will, move heaven and earth to try and help me out.
It is well organized. It runs on a very tight budget. It's been around for 26 years. And the services that it does are tremendous with the money that it receives. 75–80% of the money taken in goes directly out into services, including Hanukkah toys for children of the military.
They're taking a lot of their time to support people that sometimes get a little bit lost in the Jewish world. They understand what it is to be a soldier, what it is to be away from home, what it is to be away from the Jewish community, and what it is to be someone who's patriotic and supports the country. The first time I went to Afghanistan, I met a young soldier there. This was not a religious kid, and I do the Pesach Seder. I asked him to say the Manishtana, and he reads it and he starts crying. And then he tells me, well, this is the first time I've cried since I've been away from home, because it reminded me of my grandfather. That Pintel Yid, the Lipskars understand that, but there's a little Pintel Yid in everybody. And sometimes when you get into this type of situation, where it's a life and death situation all of a sudden, it isn't a video game where you hit reset and it starts all over again. It's real blood out there, it's real fear out there, and a lot of the Jewishness that's coming through that you had. And I think that's what they understand the best.